Welcome, kings and queens, to another episode of Unapologetic, your number one podcast. This is the show where kings and queens tell their legacies and on. So get ready for the gems to drop and pull up to the table because we're ready.
I just don't look. There's a couple of ways of looking at it. We can be looked at as being disruptive in a couple of different ways. One is, not everybody is going to agree with public consumption. That they didn't do that with alcohol. That's why we had prohibition.
Yeah.
But you're going to start to realize, though, that of the two products, again, cannabis arguably is the safer one. So it's not anecdotal. We can certainly provide look, the plant's been around for thousands of years. The plant's been used and consumed for thousands of years. The United States is probably, the country that uses it least. The plant itself has far more benefits and provides resources other than just consumption. So again, I think it's a matter of just educating everybody on the plant itself and its many benefits and uses. You're not going to convince everybody. Not everybody believes that alcohol should be legal. But our goal is to again prove to people, though, that this can be done safely. And again, is what the consumer is really demanding and deserving of. Then we're also disruptive, though, in the people that already know and believe in cannabis use. We're disruptive with them because to date, they've had to consume it privately in their homes or their businesses or somewhere else. And a lot of people, if you're renting and you're not the homeowner or you're in an apartment, they might not allow that. So they're forced to go out to their car or step outside or do something. So we're disrupting the way that the already cannabis consumer consumes this particular product and bringing it to a open public setting. So yeah, we look at ourselves as kind of being disruptive in multiple ways, and we're trying to convince those that don't believe necessarily in the plant's benefits that they do exist, and then convince the ones that believe in the plant's benefits that open public consumption is probably far better than just consuming, in your home or your friend's basement or something like that. So
Okay. Well, you came up with this plan, this lucrative plan in the cannabis industry to not only become one of the first ever of its kind, but to also benefit the communities and also the world as a whole. So to get past that point, where are some of the things? Why Muskegon? What makes Muskegon that place to make this establishment its HQ?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, Corey is a native to Muskegon, born and raised in the Muskegon area. So he knows and understands the community quite well. He's been involved in the community and otherwise for a good part of his adult life. So that certainly was important to us. Secondly, Corey did the research on the real estate that we purchased and where Fields will be the home of Fields. And there was a lot of benefits behind the real estate in itself. We're right off the main Highway 31. It's 4 acres, located in a very dense populated area. It met all of the guidelines for what a cannabis business needs to do and be in terms of like distance to a school or otherwise. But then most importantly, two other great factors is that Muskegon in itself is growing. It continues to expand, and the people in charge there want Muskegon to be known as the destination spot for all of Western Michigan. The people are great. The beaches are beautiful. The water is gorgeous. The sunsets are like no other. But the community in itself makes Muskegon kind of the ideal choice for this particular business model. And the powers that be, what I'm referring to is the mayor and vice mayor and everybody else that's in office there is very cannabis forward thinking. They're allowing us to pull off this proof of concept in Muskegon, where I don't know many other municipalities that would allow it. And once we have this proof of concept, then our goal is to go ahead and expand it into other markets. But the fact that Muskegon is so forward thinking when it comes to cannabis, they're giving us the perfect platform to pull this business model off. So we're very thankful to them. We're very thankful to the community in general, and we're really looking forward to becoming an integral part of that community.
Wow. So Muskegon political figures actually work with you guys. So that sounds kind of rare nowadays to bring in that, cannabis is has a, like we said before, a double like a positive and a negative that runs along with it. Now that is being more widely used and more education has been brought out to the people, what were some of the issues, excuse me, should I say, some of the other places that you tried to bring this to that you were denied?
We didn't try to bring it to anywhere else where we were denied. We looked at other municipalities and just looked at other parcels, and that was really Corey doing like his real due diligence. And to this day, we still look at other municipalities and wonder, could we pull something off there? Are there any opportunities there?
Right.
But again, the fact that Corey is a native to Muskegon. And this property, which is probably the most ideal property for this type of business model anywhere, just made perfect sense that it was going to be done in Muskegon. The real light bulb went off when I learned that the property address is actually 420 South Harvey Street. So that just made it a complete no-brainer.
Oh man, I didn't know that. So that was like a smack, like, oh yeah, this is meant for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yep. Exactly. It was meant to be.
Oh my God. So since that came to the light, how are you guys trying? How can I put this? So Fields Cannery will be a beacon for the community, one of the beacons for the community, a social gathering, family, friends and family fun. But how is this going to benefit the community? What are some of the things that you guys are putting back within the city of Muskegon?
Yeah, one is job creation, right? In order for us to fully run this conglomerate, we're probably creating somewhere near 50 jobs.
Wow.
Some of them those ranging from part-time jobs to full-time positions in very high level positions. So we'll be certainly creating a lot of new jobs for the area. We're also beautifying that piece of property, right? The requirements for us to make changes to this property per the Muskegon guidelines are really, in an area that is mainly kind of residential. So we've got word from the powers that be again that they're happy to see these type of developments not just take place in downtown Muskegon, but start to get into the outskirts of Muskegon, where they could benefit from, a lot of the new commercial traffic that they will get there. And then lastly, our goal is to certainly give back in ways of either financial donations or other improvements to parks, schools, etc. Not only to the ones needing it the most, meaning that the ones that have probably impacted by the war on drugs or otherwise, but just to the general Muskegon community. We want to make sure that Muskegon continues to grow at the pace that they're growing, and then that the rest of the people that either live or visit Michigan know about Muskegon, right? So our goal is to just to continue to work with the various community members to find out, how can we get involved? How can we participate? Right? How can they utilize our property, whether to hold clinics or do education seminars at? Our property will be open to anyone that is looking to improve people's lives. So the property is designed to be family friendly, but it is designed to be over 21. But then again, the state of Michigan is even considering lowering the work age requirement for cannabis companies to 18.
Really?
Whether they made that decision or not, right, we want to make sure that we work with everybody from, again, community leaders to educators and political figures.
Wow. I didn't know that. Shoot, I didn't. So it's almost as if because of this new eye opener for cannabis, it seems like the world is getting more educated on what it really is and how it can be beneficial, not just to the body, but to the economy, financially. And it's almost like you guys are putting everything together under one roof, and to show, I guess, really to be one of the first leaders to show everybody that we can teach you, you can enjoy and relax, you can have food, friends, whatever. And this is the place for it, that you can get all of the above. Was that ever a part of the game plan, or was this just something that accumulated over time?
It wasn't the game plan day one, but shortly after us, probably not even shortly, I should say, after many visits to the whiteboard, we finally came up with this business model and this concept, and that's where the light bulbs just really lit up. And we thought, okay, here is something that's not only unique, but something that is the cannabis consumer is wanting, right, is looking for, and is deserving of. So once we came up with the concept, we knew right away that we were off to something big there. So we just continued to work with everybody to help us get to the point of where we're at right now, and we'll continue to do so to get to the point of opening the doors and beyond. So
Wow. Are you last time we spoke, you're really big on the environment, saving the planet, and recycling, whatnot. What are some of the things that uh Fields Cannery will bring to that type of saving the planet realm?
yeah, I mean, cannabis has done a lot of good since going legal. People have access to their medicine that they didn't have before. It's created a ton of jobs. As you mentioned earlier, right, the economic factors are incredible. I just read an article today that more money is spent on cannabis in the U.S. than now chocolate. So it really is growing in leaps and bounds. But with that growth,
That's
though,
crazy.
comes other challenges. And one of those challenges is that you can look at cannabis as potentially having the ability to become like the next water bottle crisis. People use a lot of non-biodegradable packaging for their products. Those products are hard to recycle. They're hard to discard of. Because they carry cannabis inside of them, and the recycling companies have to be cautious that there are no traces of THC or other cannabinoids inside of it. So our goal is in multiple different ways. One is the construction of our facility. We will do as much as we possibly can to repurpose certain materials, to pick items that have been repurposed or regenerated from different materials, so that we're not wasting anything. We'll also be incorporating in our production facility, we'll be incorporating the use of natural sunlight, which then requires us to use less electricity. We'll also be using the Earth's natural cooling capabilities by using geothermal to help cool the facility as well. And then we'll be doing as much as we can with water reclamation as well. So anything we can do to capture any water that runs off from our plants or runs off from our HVAC systems or runs off from cleaning or otherwise, we can recycle, reuse. We're even in discussions to be able to reuse gray water that's used throughout the restaurant, and recycle that and reuse that to simply flush our toilets or water our grasses. And then we'll be burying large tanks in the ground so that we can capture as much rainwater as possible. So Michigan is one of the states where water isn't a crisis. But we still want to preserve it. We still want to make sure that that never becomes a crisis. So we're doing our part. And I sit on the sustainability work group for Michigan's Cannabis Regulatory Association. There are many different groups within that. I sit on the water group, but we have a power group, we have a waste group, etc. So the cannabis industry is recognizing that they don't want to be known as the next water bottle. And they're starting to take steps to make sure that what everyone does is for the benefit of the planet.
Wow. So you guys have this whole, it's like the greenhouse bill in all in one. And I didn't know that all of that can be beneficial to that type of, platform.
Yeah, we did
Geothermal,
our,
it's crazy.
and no, I mean, we did our research on what we wanted to construct for the production facility, and we
Right.
did that with always keeping in mind, right, what is the most sustainable way of doing it. So again, we vetted a lot of companies, we did a lot of research on, what's the best approach here, and we decided day one, even though it might be a bigger investment up front, in the long run, it's not only a savings to us from an operational standpoint, but again, it's beneficial to to the planet.
Wow. I wish everybody thought like that. It would be a lot, this planet would be a lot cleaner and better, in my opinion. Uh,
It shocks me that there's still a group of people out there that don't believe in climate change, but I mean, it's no longer anecdotal. The data that's out there is accurate.
right.
I agree with you. Our goal is to try to get people to start not only cannabis operators, right, but just everyone in general to start taking a better look at how they view and use valuable natural resources. There's a lot of things that can be done, and hopefully we lead by example.
Man, this is crazy. This sounds like the most state-of-the-art type of facility that's going to be built in Muskegon. And it doesn't even it's self-efficient. That's what makes, to me, in my opinion, it makes it so fascinating, because you see, people try to reuse old buildings, which is great. Reuse the old structures that's been there for decades, if not more. But to hear the old mixing with the new in a way of not just scientifically, but environmentally, and it keeps the history of Muskegon, the history of this town, rich. It keeps it original, because you can actually absolutely say, well, hey, I know exactly where it is, especially in town. People's like, oh yeah, I could take you to it. So I used to play down the street when I was a kid, or whatever it may be, because a few times through my travels and business and whatnot, when I do my tours around the city or whatever, I listen to the people that are around me, the community, because those are the people who benefit or suffer the most from whatever platform that is there, and they give honest feedback. What's the benefits of this business being here? Have they been here long enough for you to be comfortable and whatnot? And it's all as if, even though it hasn't even been open and it hasn't opened yet, it seems like the whole town and the whole city is ready for this to happen ASAP. It's been a few talks about it that I've been hearing and reading, that uh that the colleges and the area that you guys are being are establishing at will, you know, be even more rich in people and more education, because it's a beacon. You know, people gravitate towards that, and it's going to be. I can't wait to see it, honestly. But I want to ask you, what um are some of the, well, should I ask, because I don't even know if you guys can say, but how many strands or um plants you guys will be producing throughout the you guys' platform?
Well, that's definitely a better question for Corey. He's the head of cultivation and
Okay.
production. He, on top of again, understanding the plant very well, he's a genetics expert as well. He creates his own genetics,
Wow.
and will
Yeah, I didn't know
always be
that.
doing that.
That's
We'll
dope.
always be doing that going forward. So it's hard to say how many exactly. In terms of plant count, we currently have a Class B license, which allows us for 500 mature plants to be grown.
Wow.
And he'll have a
500
mixture,
individual?
500 individual plants. Yep. Um,
Dude,
so I'm sure, have a mixture of all kinds of different strains, but
right.
being the the mind that he is, he's always going to be wanting to create new and exciting genetics out there.
That's
So I look
awesome.
forward to that as well.
Right. Right.